Tonight on Breaking Through News, we bring you an exclusive report from Augusta County, Virginia, where a landmark legal battle is unfolding, challenging the very fabric of pet rights and police accountability in America. In the eye of this storm is Tina Ray, whose German Shepherd Jax was fatally shot by Officer Michael Roane on September 24, 2017. This tragic incident has sparked not just a legal showdown, but a nationwide conversation on how law enforcement interacts with our beloved pets. The lawsuit, pending since 2017, now finds itself before the Court of Appeals after the trial judge dismissed the case. In appellate arguments before the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals last month, Ray's lawyers argued evidence from an autopsy the plaintiff had performed on Jax and eyewitness testimony that Deputy Roane shot Jax in the back of the head should have gone to a jury.
I think that these issues should go to a jury, because Officer Roane has a completely different story in that last vital second before the dog was killed than eyewitnesses who were on the scene. Two eyewitnesses say that he stepped forward and pulled the trigger while the gun was pointed down over the dog's head, which begs the question of common sense. If this dog was up on its hind quarters fighting a leash, it's just common sense. When the dog gets to the end of the leash, they go up, and if it's an aggressive animal, snapping and growling, you don't walk around it and shoot it through the back of the head. The dog's head was down. If you have dogs, you know that's a submissive position. You shot him through the head. And the last thing that Officer Smith heard was the whimpering of that dog dying.
Forensic experts revealed that Roane shot the dog in a downward motion, with the gun alarmingly close to Jax's head. These findings raise a glaring question. Was this shooting necessary, or was Officer Roane in full control of a situation he claims was a threat? Was he protecting himself, or did he simply execute Jax, a beloved family pet? The heart of Ray's legal stance is set forth in her appeal brief. This document challenges the initial court rulings and scrutinizes Roane's defense, particularly his claim to qualified immunity. Ray points out that other officers were there before Officer Roane arrived and that no other officer found Jax a threat. Ray's attorney, John Shawman from HDR Attorneys in Washington, talked about this during the hearing.
What do you do with the fact that this is a real quick reaction by that officer, but surrounding that officer are at least 2, 4, 6 other police officers who could certainly have assisted him? I mean, it seems like an awfully quick reaction to me.
There's nothing that those officers or anybody else could have done to assist him in that moment. This happened according to all of the undisputed testimony. Nobody disagrees. This happened very quickly. It happened very unexpectedly. This is not a situation where it wasn't a search warrant actually that was being served. It was an arrest.
But the record says that those other officers were actually petting the dog.
That was all before Officer Roane arrived.
The appeal argued that a jury should be able to hear the evidence and decide whether Roane should be held accountable. During the appellate hearing, the judge's skepticism towards Roane's defense was palpable.
The dog was in his own yard, right?
The dog was on the...
The
yes.
dog was in his yard.
Yes.
Right. The officer was there as a stranger, and the dog was in fact tied. And before you kill someone's dog, it's a question of whether or not, in fact, you were in that level of danger to shoot a tied dog in its own yard. And the question, in fact, some witnesses say he stepped forward. And that's a fact question in terms of context for a jury to look at. All the circumstances, other officers are petting the dog. And of course, someone would argue that, no, the dog was a danger, he felt that, but that's a fact question. I don't see how, as a matter of law, you win. Because you said the officer thought he had not gotten to the end and some juror might say, no, the dog, you stepped forward to shoot the dog. Now, I don't know, that's what jurors are for.
Judges skeptical. Their questions zeroed in on the reasonableness of Roane's perceived threat and his subsequent actions. One of the appellate judges asked Roane's attorney if the leash attached to Jax was invisible, implying disbelief of defense arguments.
Officer the dog was leashed?
Officer, the
Didn't
leash.
he know the dog was leashed?
What he thought when he...
Is that a yes or no?
Did he know
Did he know the dog was leashed?
At the time the dog was pursuing him, no.
So he couldn't see it?
No.
Well, it was visible. I mean, otherwise, forget the zip line. That's the horizontal, but the vertical, it's got to be what the dog's neck. It goes up from the dog's neck to go somewhere. It was in the clouds, attached to it. You see the leash. I may not know exactly where it's attached to, but I can see it's going somewhere, going that way. So was that an invisible leash?
Officer Roane
Was the leash invisible?
Was the leash invisible?
The leash, was it invisible?
No, Officer.
But then he saw that the dog was tethered to something.
Right?
Can we get that, establish that fact?
Originally, when he...
I see, I guess we can't. Go ahead.
The court also discussed that the questions presented were the type of questions that should see a jury, leaving the audience to assume the court may well be prepared to overturn the district court and set this case for trial. There is potential for this case to set a significant legal precedent. Ray's fight goes beyond her personal loss. It's at the forefront of a movement that could reshape pet rights in America. A ruling in her favor could set a higher standard for police accountability in incidents involving the killing of pets by police officers. This case is a stark reminder of the difficulties in holding officers accountable, particularly in incidents involving non-human victims. The legal battle hinges on qualified immunity and the interpretations of the Fourth Amendment, spotlighting the intricacies and challenges in such cases involving police misconduct allegations. As we await the Fourth Circuit's decision, the implications loom large. This isn't just about Jax or Tina Ray. It's about how our legal system views and treats animals, and how it holds those in power accountable for their actions towards these voiceless members of our families. Tina Ray's fight for Jax is more than a crusade for personal justice. It's a symbol of the struggle for the rights of pets and the responsibility of those sworn to protect and serve. The legal battle, some 7 years in the making, is a true testament to the spirit of Jax and his owner's fight to protect other pets by standing up for Jax and honoring his memory. Stay tuned to Breaking Through News. We've reached out to counsel for Ray and the sheriff and will continue to follow this story closely, bringing you updates as they emerge, including the much-anticipated decision from the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals. To stay informed about police corruption and accountability, remember to subscribe to Breaking Through News on the Newsbreak app or on our website at breakingthrough.com.